Hi, it's Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I picked up a full face of Merit Beauty. I have kind of been falling in love slowly with Merit Beauty based on just two shades of lipstick. I have two of their signature lip lightweight lipsticks, and this is the one that I've been addicted to recently. But I have the shade Baby, which is kind of like a really soft, neutral kind of pink shade. And this one here, which is like my new obsession, which is the shade Lavender, which is kind of like a berry, almost brown tone. Gorgeous. I love the formula. I love the packaging. I love the idea of Merit Beauty. It kind of seems like, and maybe this is just my take on it, but kind of like a more grown-up version of Glossier makeup, where it's lightweight, where it's minimal, where it enhances, but it's not too much. And that's really what I'm excited about. I have been on and off Merit Beauty's website for months and months and months. Ever since I picked up the first Merit lipstick, I was like, what else do they have? What else looks interesting? Been checking them out on Sephora, and I finally decided just to go ahead and make a purchase. And I thought, okay, I want to try like 3/4 of the products that there are, but what if there is something that is amazing that I don't try because it doesn't really catch my fancy? So I decided to make a purchase of their complete set. If you purchase from the Merit website, your first purchase comes with a super cute little corduroy bag, and they put all of my products in here. So I'm just gonna open up the bag. It's got a little Merit tag and all my products are on the inside. The first thing I'm gonna do is throw on some of the lip oil. My lips are feeling a little bit dry and I don't want that to happen. I have the Shade Slick Tinted Lip Oil in the shade Cara. It's kind of this really pretty, almost orange shade. I guess I was thinking it would be a little bit more terracotta. This is interesting texturally. I might take this off. We'll see what it feels like before I put on the lipstick that I ordered with this set. But this has the feeling of an oil without being greasy or slippy. It feels instantly hydrating on the lips. I like the fact that when I pull out the doe foot, I'm not getting like a ton of product on here. I feel like I'm getting just enough. And if you're wanting like just a bare swatch, this is what it looks like. It does have that nice glossy look to it. I think the packaging is stunning. I like the square shape, the gold top that screws on and off, and I feel like it's a really nice delivery. I don't really feel like there's a scent to this. This just kind of smells faintly, ever so faintly, because like I really didn't smell much, but it smells faintly of like lip product. I really like the way it feels on my lips. All right, let's keep going and put on a few other things. The foundation product that Merit has is called the Minimalist, and it's supposed to be foundation as well as concealer. I love the idea of using one product for both. This is supposed to be lightweight, look like skin. I want to see if I got the right shade. I got the second to lightest shade in Slip. The lightest shade said it was more cool, almost kind of rosy toned, not really a good match for me usually. So let's see what this looks like. I also got their #1 brush, and it's supposed to be good for blending in product. The other thing that they've done recently is they have made this stick 1.7 times larger than they did initially. And I think they also said that there's less likely chance of it breaking off. I think that they might have had some packaging issues, and I like that they have addressed that and, re-release the same product, same formula, and, better for us, the consumer. So I'm going to, maybe what I should do is start by just swiping on a little bit here. I like to have coverage corners of the nose. I like to have some like right along in here, and we'll address some of the hyperpigmentation. That might be too much, but we'll see. This is a really soft brush. I feel like it does a pretty good job of blending product in fairly quickly. I don't feel like I'm getting a lot of product like instantly in the bristles of the brush where I feel like, it's going to need to be washed like daily or every other day. I feel like I might be able to use it for maybe not quite a week, but It's always a good idea to wash your brushes, but if I have to wash it after every single one because the bristles just soak up product, and I don't know if it's the formulation of the product or the formulation of the brush, I'm usually pretty skeptical when a company says, here's the product, but you need our brush to blend it. I think the only reason I picked up this brush, because I've got a ton of makeup brushes, is because in this set where you get one of everything, it was just part of the set. And it was literally less expensive to get this set where I could pick like one shade of everything than it was to get everything individually minus this brush. So it's like, fine, great, let's just try it. Under the eye, I do want just a little bit more coverage because I'm not using an under eye corrector. So for that, I do like, instead of, you know, just buffing, to like literally tap, almost kind of stipple, just to get the most coverage. I want to make sure I go over up the side of my nose here so we can get a good look at what half the face looks like with the Minimalist on and the other half without. Oh, hello. I really like the way this looks. First of all, the first thing that I notice is it just looks like my skin. It doesn't look like I'm wearing anything particularly heavy. I also feel like, you know, tapping over instead of like swiping, I really help to keep the coverage underneath my eye, and I don't feel like it's dry at all. Now, I have combo skin, which means my skin is mostly normal everywhere, and I've got extra oils right in around the nose and right across the tops of my cheeks close to my nose. But everywhere else is pretty much normal. In like the hottest months of the year, I can get a little bit oily here and here, but at this point, now that it's September, that's definitely not happening. I feel like my skin is pretty well balanced. But the older I get, the more fine lines and creping I get underneath my eye. And as I'm looking at this, this is really sitting beautifully there. And I feel like there's a really noticeable difference between, you know, the freckling and the kind of inconsistent pigmentation I have on my face on this side without the product, and the perfection without it looking heavy and cakey. I really like the way this looks. So I haven't finished blending everything in yet, obviously, but look at this. Do you see how diminished this spot is? You can still see it, but I feel like if I were just to take an extra little dab right here, ever so slightly, and instead of using the brush, tap it in with my finger, I might get it to nearly disappear where you don't see it. That's really exciting. And this time on this side, I'm going to distribute this product underneath my eye this way. You know, actually, I feel like it taps out really well. I'm going to tell you, this is my left eye. This is the one that's perpetually leaking. I might have some product gone in this corner before this video is over, but my eye's been watering hardcore today. Might be a little soon to say it, but I feel like this could kind of, you know, usurp or dethrone my Glossier Stretch Concealer, which is kind of my, right now, favorite one and done product. I use it mostly as concealer and touch it up in other places as foundation, but I'm pretty impressed with this. I feel like this is a really nice brush. It's got short but compact bristles for easy buffing. It's synthetic fiber, super soft. I'm really curious to see how this continues to work after several weeks, after several washes. I don't know that I would definitely feel like I need it in my collection because I do have a lot of other brushes, but it would be really easy to toss all of these things in that bag from Merit and take like a full face with me, and I could have the one brush that I need to buff it all out. I feel like this is a good purchase, but I don't know that you have to have it. The next thing I want to try on is this. This is the new Bronze Balm Sheer Bronzer. I have the shade Clay. I didn't go for the lightest shade. My concern was if I went for the very lightest shade, it looked a little yellow warm. And I have some bronzers in my collection already that lean a little yellow, and they're not my favorite. I thought it would be easier to go with an easy to blend formula that I could apply a little bit lighter and blend a little bit more strategically than go with one that was maybe a little too yellow toned. So this is the second to lightest shade. This is specifically marketed to be sheer, easy to blend, kind of like almost foolproof. So I'm really curious. I also like that it's kind of in this oval shape. I don't know if I want to put it on kind of like the long ways or the wide ways. Let's see. And I'm really not going to go for the hollows. I'm just really going to go for like where I would naturally want a little bit of bronzer. And I want to see what it looks like when I just blend with my fingers. I think it'd be really easy to bring the brush in here, but I don't want to start mixing products on top of the brush. I might want to keep it just for foundation. So we'll just tap with our fingers. Well, that was ridiculously easy. Okay. I know it's not really kind of like a contour, but I always feel like a little shadow down here. I think reality is I'm not fooling anybody's eye, but I'm making myself feel better by putting just a little shadow right here underneath my chin. I will tell you, this blends like with no effort. I also feel like the amount of color I have in through here really gives a little bit more shape and warmth to my face than on the side that I don't have it, but let's even it out. I feel like with just these 3 makeup items on my face, the lip oil, the Minimalist foundation, and this bronzer, I feel I would feel so confident leaving the house with this. I feel like I have just a little bit of color to my face, a little bit of color to my lips, and a slightly perfected base. And I don't really feel like I look like I'm wearing a lot of makeup. I have their Flush Balm. This is kind of like a creamy, you just scribble it on sort of cheek color that melts in. I have the shade Cheeky. I didn't think about the fact that I was getting kind of like a rose toned, almost mauve-y cheek color, and I ordered a red lipstick. We'll see how it works. So I'm just gonna dab a little bit of this here. This is a little bit cooler, and maybe what I'll do is I'll use a damp beauty sponge to just blend this in. I do feel like with the damp sponge and product going over that has picked up some of the coverage I had here, but this is where I remind you that I'm going over the same area with, you know, foundation, with bronzer, with blush, and I'm not really being that careful. I'm just kind of dabbing it on where I want it. And I think that if I was being a little bit more strategic, that I might be better about not picking it up. None of this has been set with powder, and I want to see what it wears like without any setting. What is it going to do under the eye? Am I going to get longevity? Are my natural oils going to come through in this area? We're just going to have to wait and see. Time for their highlight. This is the highlighting balm. I have the lightest shade in Cava, and I'm worried that, you know, maybe what I should be doing is putting it on my finger and then tapping it where I want it, as opposed to just drawing it on. I don't want to disturb any more of the foundation, especially with something like this. This is really kind of shiny. I want to be a little bit more careful about where I put this. Oh my goodness, this is so pretty. I'm already really loving this. This is a sort of makeup that I feel like I could leave the house with right now. They have one brow product. This is called Brow 1980. As a kid who grew up in the 80s, I remember those Brooke Shields ads where her eyebrows were just everything we wanted. I'm glad I kind of started becoming aware of makeup in the 80s because it kept me from over plucking my brows in the 90s when I was in college. So I'm gonna put this on. I have the shade Brown. It's got kind of like a slightly conical shaped spoolie, and I feel like if I just wipe off the excess here on the tip, I might get some pretty good coverage. The one thing I like to do always when I'm using just a dedicated tinted brow gel is to back comb. I don't know if this formula has any fibers in it. I didn't see that on their website where it was talking about being a specific type of formula. Their descriptions are pretty, short. It says, a nod to the 80s, this pomade adds color and volume for healthy, fluffy arches. And that's the description. This here is kind of like my weak eyebrow. This is the eyebrow that needs the most, encouraging, the most eyebrow serum, the most filling in and love. So if I can get this to look full and fluffy with just one product, I will be impressed and amazed. I feel like this is looking pretty good. The one problem I have is sometimes, because this is my weaker eyebrow, I start here so I don't build up too much on the other side, but sometimes I find that I need just like a little pencil. I might just take like a brush, a little bit of this, and fill in a few gaps, but let's see where we get. I'm gonna do the other side. I feel like this is a really nice, natural looking brow product, and if you had full and well-groomed brows, a little something like this to add a little depth if you need it, in the front or at the tail, and just kind of hold it in place would be sufficient. I also like that this looks like a very unmade up brow. It looks like it could be my natural brow. I mean, it's obviously not, but it doesn't look so far off of potentially natural that it looks crazy made up. I feel like my eyebrows look really nice. I feel like they don't look too heavy. They don't look too made up. They also don't look like there's a ton of product in them. It has a very nice lightweight feel, and I feel like that's the vibe I'm getting so far from all of this makeup. This is not your heavy Instagram, you know, full beat sort of makeup. This is definitely more me, but in color. Time to try on their Clean Lash Mascara. This is a tubing formula. It's supposed to be lengthening. I am really excited to try this. I love a tubing mascara. And this one here has, oh, the exact sort of wand that I like. Just your traditional mascara wand that looks like it's gonna build some really nice length. All right, so I'm gonna start, I already have my lashes curled. How is it that I already have mascara on? I don't know how I do that. I've been wearing makeup for 30 some years and I still, multiple times a week, get mascara on my eyelid. Some things I guess you can never get just right. This is buildable for length. I don't know that I'm getting a ton more volume. I feel like this might be like the max I can get out of it. The difference between no mascara and mascara. I like the way that it looks. It looks like a, you know, slightly defined eye while still looking really natural. I feel like that's really the vibe here. Me, but in color. Me, but a little bit more. Like lashes, but just, you know, they're not gonna get thick and chunky. Sometimes I like a really aggressive mascara look. This isn't gonna take me there, but I do really like the length and the wispiness that it's giving my lashes. I have fallen in love with their signature lip lightweight lipstick formula so much. I already have two. This is the third shade. This is one I've been eyeing for a while, and it probably would have been less expensive to just buy this on its own. This is a $26 lipstick. This is the shade Cabo. Oh, so gorgeous. It's kind of like a warm, rusty color. I'm excited about that. But I think for me, more than anything, trying this whole brand, you know, top to bottom, seeing what it does. The one thing that I've noticed is that it makes me look like me. And the sort of makeup I wear usually on a non-filming day, a day when I sit down and I have all of my toys in front of me, I pull for every eyeliner, mascara, you know, blush, bronzer, highlight. I pull for everything. And I am wearing all of those things today, but they're really sheer minimal versions where instead of seeing the makeup, I feel like you're just seeing me. And I feel like that's a beautiful thing. So I'm gonna put this on. I already know I love this formula. This is a lightweight formula. It feels like nearly nothing on. I don't know that I need to take off the lip oil that I put down first, but I'm just gonna cross my fingers that the moisture I have on doesn't cause this to go outside my lip line. Hello, I love this color. This color is so gorgeous, and I feel like it's a beautiful, warm toned, bright shade for fall. All right, so I know this lipstick really took it over the edge. It was looking very natural, very soft, and then it was like, but I want to wear all the lipstick. And this is one of those formulas that you can build it up to be really bright like I'm wearing it, or one pass looks like this. And the difference between the two is me aggressively applying more and more. I know I like this formula. This is my third shade of it. And I feel like it does a good job of keeping my lips moisturized, making them look hydrated without looking glossy. And I find that this formula doesn't actually leave my lip line. I do wear both the other shades that I have in Baby and Lavenue at work underneath my mask on occasion, but I don't know that I would wear Cabo unless I were to wear it like a really thin, quick, you know, single swipe where it's lightweight and it's not really slathered on. If you're curious, this is Baby, this is Lavenue, and this is Cabo. You know me, I'm a lipstick fiend. Love me a lipstick. And I like the fact that these lipsticks are nourishing, comfortable, glossy. They just make my lips look better, like a better version of my lip. And if I wear them lightweight like this, it's almost like it's my lips, but just slightly intensified. But I do like that they have the ability to be built up. And I love this bright shade in Cabo. This is really bringing me joy and happiness. Okay, so I think overall, this brand is really giving me effortless, easy, fast makeup. That's what I'm getting from this. And I would say effortless is in like, you know, I can swipe it on and blend the cheek products with my fingers, or I can just, you know, glide my fingers over the top and doot, doot, doot. You know, I did this with the blush and the highlight. I feel like things are super easy to use. That's great. The one thing I will tell you, the eyebrows, it talks about it being a flexible hold, and that's really what it is. I prefer, because my eyebrows in certain places, since I use a brow serum, can get a little long, and then sometimes they start to like have a mind of their own and go in certain ways. And if I'm not careful, like my arch will fall in a certain area. So I like them most when they're brushed up and put exactly where I want them, and then I want them to stay there. And I feel like this builds fluffy volume, this tints them, but I don't know that this is going to give them the hold that I would like, but I don't think it's designed to. I think that it's meant to be that flexible hold, which means it's not going to be like stay in place crispy like some other brow products. I am super impressed. Okay, the ones that really got me, that for like just general ease, this bronzer, so easy. This lip oil, incredible. And I am already just like looking at my under eye, because I've been sitting here for a good, you know, 35, 40 minutes at this point. And I have not set any of this with powder. None of it. I'm 47. I have wrinkles. I have lines underneath my eyes. I use an eye serum as well as an eye cream and a moisturizer on my face today. So there is potential for slippage, for creasage, and I am really not seeing any of that. That is impressive on its own. Now, I will tell you, this spot here, and I feel like I had a little bit more coverage on these two spots, but then I started adding, you know, bronzer, highlight, blush over the top, and these are your more emollient sorts of products. So I feel like it did maybe go through the foundation. I could take the time to take some foundation and dot over those places, but I think that if I were to do that over, you know, the cheek color that I have down, you would see places where there was diminished color. It would be hard to blend it all over again. I'm curious to see if I can lightly set the areas where I need that additional coverage, like here, here, and I have another spot over here, what it's gonna look like with powder. But right now, I feel like my skin looks really pretty, very evened out. I look like a more pulled together version of myself. Now, on my non-filming days, this is the sort of makeup I love to wear. Probably even less than this. When I sit down here at my filming space and I have my, you know, beauty desk in front of me and I have all of my toys, I just keep reaching like a kid in a candy shop. Oh, and I want this. Oh, and I want this. But on the days that I gotta get going and I don't have time to sit and play, like I flip these lights on, I sit down, and like 5 minutes later, I'm out the door. And I feel like these products are the sorts of products that would lead me to have a really beautiful, very successful day after day, 5 to 7 minute makeup look. If you are a makeup minimalist, I think you would really appreciate these products. Even though I picked up every single product they own, I don't feel like you would have to do that. And this is where it is good to take stock of, okay, what type of makeup do I wear? If I don't wear brow products, don't buy a brow product. If I tend to not use bronzer, don't buy the bronzer. Think about the products that you reach for the most and that in a minimal amount of time would make you feel pulled together and more beautiful. And I think you could cherry pick from this collection. The one thing that I like is that overall it's a really pretty look. It is so pretty and it is so natural. And I think that if I were to blot this lip, let me blot it really quick. So this is what it looks like blotted. And I feel like taking away some of that shine and some of the additional layers of color, this is what the lip would look like. You know, the other two shades that I have, this is what it looks like after a couple of hours of wear. You know, I put it on multiple swipes, full force, and then it wears down to something like this. I'm gonna stop there. I will have to check back with you in a couple of weeks, let you know how these products wear in the long term. Are they easy? Do they withstand a full day of makeup? But just on application and the fact that I don't have any creasing underneath the eyes, that the mascara is long and fluffy but not too chunky. I already know I like the lip product, but I mean, I'm pretty impressed. And I feel like this would be this perfect sort of makeup for somebody who likes to look polished but doesn't want to take more than a few minutes to do it. Let me know, have you tried any Merit Beauty? What are your favorites? What sorts of things are the products that you can't live without? Now, if you haven't tried Merit, but you have another foolproof, easy to use, fast out the door, natural but me makeup, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have an incredible day. Subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you again soon.